Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Estonian Parliament. Welcome to Toompea. I am Keit Pentus-Rosimannus, member of Estonian Parliament since 2007, also served as a Minister of Foreign Affairs and Minister of Environment. And I'm really excited to welcome you to this virtual tour of Parliament complex that has got its look in the course of several centuries. Let's go. We are standing now in the White Hall, which I admit is my absolute favorite hall in the whole Parliament building. You see that it's full of light, it's very elegant, but most of all, it's full of very interesting history. The hall is part of Estonian provincial government building that was built in the second half of 18th century under the Russian Empire. Catherine the Great visited Tallinn and pretty much demanded the building of this house. During the first decades of our independence, this building, this hall, became the official residence of Estonian state elders. And our first constitutional assembly, at the time 120 members assembly, started to use this hall as their session hall. So all the lively debates over our first constitution were held in that same hall here, the White Hall. Nevertheless, the hall became quite cramped. You can imagine that if there are 120 grown-ups passionately debating over extremely important state affairs, the room becomes heated pretty quickly. So our Constitutional Assembly decided that there has to be a new building built specifically for our Parliament. This hall here did not remain empty. Estonian government started to use the White Hall as their session hall. And that was the case until the Soviet occupation. So the White Hall was the government session hall from 1922 till 1940. When we regained our independence, again, this is where Estonian government started to hold its sessions. And that happened, or that took place until 2000, when Estonian government finally got its own building that is not far from here, and it's called Stenbock House. Nowadays, the White Hall is used for all the official occasions. So next time, when you come visit Estonian Parliament, you will be greeted here. The official picture will be taken here, and you will know that you are standing in the very place where Estonian first constitution was once adopted. And now, let's take a look at our session hall. Parliament Session Hall is without a doubt the most prominent room in the Parliament complex. This is the hall where all the laws or the decisions that have influenced Estonian faith have been debated, have been adopted since 1922. The Parliament building itself is located in the courtyard of Toompea Castle complex. You may notice that there are a lot of triangles and a lot of jags that are used as ornaments here in this hall. And there is a special reason for that. It symbolizes, or it indicates, that every topic has a different facets. And although in the beginning there might be very sharp edges, uneven corners, if all those jags, all those triangles are put together in a good will and in a good manner, the result, the final result, can actually be quite resilient. Most outstanding features here in the hall are, of course, the arched ceiling, the balconies, and two niches for President and for our government. The one balcony that is facing the Speaker of the Parliament is meant for diplomatic corps only and for Estonian journalists. The second balcony on the side of the hall, as Estonian Parliament sessions are open sessions, everybody are welcomed to see with their own eyes how the Parliament is debating. Estonian President visits our Parliament on quite rare occasions, only a few times per year. It is completely different with our government. So, for example, every Wednesday when the parliament is on session, Prime Minister plus 2 other ministers are in front of the parliament answering all the questions the parliamentarians might have for them. Also, every Estonian parliamentarian has their own personal seats here in the hall. And we all have our own personal cards with electronic chip, because all the votings, of course, are electronic. Yet, before COVID-19 crisis, it was completely obligatory to be present here in the session hall to vote. Now, after the crisis, we are considering to add some more modern, more digital options to vote. The most dashing working rooms in the Estonian Parliament building are in possession of Speaker of the Parliament. They are located again in the old governor house, built in the 18th century, and this is where you really can sense the history and also sense the period of 18th century. You see that there is a huge enfilade going through the house that was planned by the architect of the house, Johann Schultz. This room here is called Golden Room, and this is the room where all the other speakers are greeted, all the prime ministers that come to visit the Estonian Parliament are greeted. And also when the Speaker of the Parliament meets with representatives of NGOs or whatever sector, this is the room where they are meeting. And when we regained our independence in the 90s, again, Estonian prime ministers became to use those rooms as their office. Since 2001, the rooms are now the working rooms for Estonian Speaker of Parliament. And now we are in the youngest wing of Toompea Castle, Toompea Parliament Complex. This wing here was built in the 1930s, and it was built at the time for the Ministry of Interior. Nevertheless, when we regained our independence, this wing here became the first location of our foreign ministry. And sometimes I really wish those walls could talk, because this is exactly the place where our first foreign minister, Mr. Lennart Meri, who later became the very well-known president, worked during all those critical years. Lennart Meri put really all his diplomatic skills in use to establish a well-functioning but also recognized Estonian Republic. And he did succeed with the help of a lot of diplomats working in the same building. Today, this room here is now the room for Foreign Affairs Committee. And we are working with as passionate dedication as ever. Tall Hermann is like the chairman, like the boss of all medieval towers here in Tallinn. Tall Hermann was built in the 14th century. It is 95 meters above the sea level, and it has 215 steps to the top. But most importantly, of course, Tall Hermann is one of the most important symbols of our national independence. This is the tower where our national flag was first raised in 1918. And after the Soviet occupation, in 24th of February 1989, the national flag was raised here again. Since then, our national flag is raised every morning with the sunrise with a special musical signature. The flags that have been up here are all numbered, they are all archived, and they are kept as a really precious treasure. Nowadays, even every school child that goes walking around the area, they always take a look up to see if the national flag is here in Tall Hermann. As long as the flag is up, we know that things in Estonia are going well, and we are determined to keep it that way forever. I thank you for taking that virtual tour with me. And I want you to know that whenever you have the chance again, come visit us. Come see the Toompea Castle complex in your own eyes.